My wife chose to celebrate her birthday without me, opting instead to have dinner with a coworker. When I told her I was thinking about filing for divorce, she assumed I was just bluffing. We had been together for 14 years, married for 12. While our relationship wasn't perfect and we faced our share of challenges, there had never been any infidelity, at least none that I was aware of. I always believed we could face our issues together. In September 2022, I was involved in a serious car accident with a garbage truck. Fortunately, I wasn't badly hurt, but I've been struggling with severe back pain ever since. This pain kept me from working as an HVAC technician. After 3 months, I tried to return to work, but my condition worsened, and my doctor ordered me to take time off while we explored treatment options. In May 2023, I had emergency surgery for a ruptured appendix. I woke my wife to take me to the hospital, but her response was irritation. She insisted on fixing her hair and makeup before leaving. She also refused to drive, so I had to drive myself to the hospital with her as a passenger. After the surgery, the hospital wanted to keep me overnight for observation due to an infection around my appendix. I asked my wife to stay with me and take a few days off to help, but she refused both. At the time, I was too focused on my health to dwell on her lack of support. In June, during a conversation, I jokingly said, "Don't let the door hit you on the way out," reflecting on the difficult situation we were in. She snapped at me, expressing that she felt trapped and stressed. I understood her feelings, knowing that my inability to work added to her stress. I had applied for financial assistance to help with the mortgage and utilities, so she was the one managing the bills. 2 weeks later, she told me she was planning to spend a night with a work friend to talk about her feelings. I encouraged her, hoping it would help us work through our issues. But then she mentioned she was supposed to have dinner on her birthday with a coworker, refusing to spend it with me. I later found out that the coworker was actually a man. This led to a heated argument, and I went to my mother's house to cool off and think things through. After a few hours, I went to a friend's house for some space. When my wife saw this, she accused me of giving up on the marriage. We fought more, but after a few days, I decided that 14 years together was too significant to end over this one issue. We agreed to try to work on our relationship for at least 6 months before making any final decisions. However, just 4 weeks later, I discovered that she had been looking for apartments. She then proposed that having her own space could potentially save our marriage. I was confused, questioning how a year-long lease could help and how I would manage the bills while still unable to work. I told her that if she moved out, I would file for divorce. She found an apartment she liked, applied for it, and was approved. Once she got the approval, she moved forward with her plans, leaving me to manage the financial responsibilities alone, despite my earlier warnings. She seemed determined to go through with it, and as she settled into her new place, I was left to handle both the practical and emotional consequences of our situation. Her departure brought a mix of emotions. On one hand, it gave me a chance to reflect on our relationship without the ongoing tension of our daily interactions. On the other hand, the financial pressure and the overwhelming reality of living alone after so many years of marriage weighed heavily on me. In the months after she moved out, we still communicated occasionally. Our conversations were often strained, filled with unresolved issues and underlying resentment. As I adjusted to my new circumstances, both emotionally and financially, I was also trying to manage the complexities of a potential divorce. The process of untangling our lives was made more difficult by the fact that I was still struggling with my health and unable to work. This made it hard to manage the logistics of our separation, such as dividing assets and settling financial obligations. I also had to come to terms with living without the partner who had been such a significant part of my life for over a decade. During this time, I focused on seeking treatment for my back pain and regaining some stability in my life. I also continued to process the emotional impact of the separation, grappling with feelings of betrayal and sadness. Ultimately, the decision to divorce was shaped by the realization that our relationship had fundamentally changed and that we were no longer capable of supporting each other in the way we once had. The unresolved issues and her decision to move out made it clear that staying in the marriage would be both difficult and potentially harmful for both of us. As I move forward, I'm working on rebuilding my life, focusing on my health, and accepting the end of a significant chapter in my personal history. I wasn't prepared for the situation to escalate, and it only took about 2 weeks for things to unfold. During this time, I did something I'm not proud of. I began to feel increasingly uneasy about her reasons for wanting to move out, suspecting that she might be hiding something. So, I decided to go through her watch while she was at work. What I found confirmed my suspicions. She had been communicating with another man for about 4 to 5 months. One of the messages I discovered was from her to him, expressing her desire to meet and asking when and where they could hook up. When I confronted her about it, she dismissed it as a joke. But when I told her how hurtful and messed up her actions were, she responded by saying that because I wasn't being intimate with her, she had to seek satisfaction elsewhere. For months, she had been rejecting my attempts to be intimate with her. In August 2023, she moved into her own apartment. 2 weeks later, I informed her that I was filing for divorce. Initially, she thought I was bluffing. However, since we didn't have any children, the divorce process went relatively smoothly and was finalized by December 2023. There were many instances of gaslighting and other troubling behaviors throughout this time. I wanted to share my story to stress that if you're being mistreated or taken advantage of in a relationship, it's crucial to have the courage to leave. No one deserves to be disrespected or mistreated. In the 2 weeks before she moved out, we had numerous arguments. She often referred to me as a broken person because of my injuries and pain. Despite everything, I helped her move out because she had no one else to rely on, and I thought it might give me some sense of closure. In the following months, we dealt with the paperwork for the divorce. The agreement was that she would keep her possessions, and I would keep mine. In October 2023, she was involved in a car accident that totaled her vehicle. Although she seemed fine and didn't go to the hospital, she asked to borrow my car for work. I refused and also declined to give her rides to work because of scheduling conflicts with my physical therapy and doctor visits. She dismissed my concerns, which led to an argument where I told her she was no longer my problem. After that, our communication decreased significantly, and we only spoke sporadically, mainly to update her address. I now return her mail to the sender, as there's nothing left to discuss. As for my well-being, I've been slowly improving physically. I recently had a procedure to numb the nerves in my lower back, which I hope will help manage the pain and allow me to return to more normal activities. As the new year began, I decided to start dating again and get out of the house, hoping to explore new relationships and experiences.